We are Mike and Taylor, and these are our dogs, Penny and Lucy. 4 years ago, we sold our home and everything we owned, moved onto a 40-foot boat, and sailed from Seattle. This is the story of us making our way. Well, my friends, I can't believe it, but today is our last day in San Blas. We've been here for nearly 4 months, and this has just been like one of the most special. It's been incredible. Just amazing. For almost 4 months, we lived entirely off-grid in this remote and absolutely stunning archipelago. Never once seeing a dock, a grocery store, a restaurant, a washing machine, a road, a car, or even a building that wasn't built from palm fronds. It was somehow precisely the experience that we once only dreamt about back in our house in Seattle, offering truly the best that a life on the water has to offer. We absolutely fell in love with these islands, the locals, and the simple, slow pace of a life lived far from the trappings of modern civilization. And of course, we made extremely special bonds with a wonderful group of people through it all. We're sad to close this chapter here, but in this lifestyle, we are always on the Earth's timeline, and we must take the windows that we get offered. And tonight, the relentless trade winds are taking a short break, creating a window that allows us to move eastward, an otherwise very difficult task in the Caribbean Sea. So we bid farewell to this beautiful place, and under the light of a dozen anchor lights and the moon, at 11 p.m., we picked up anchor and crept out slowly through the surrounding reefs, with our bow pointed towards Colombia.
Oh man, it's been an interesting passage. We picked up the hook at 11 p.m. last night. Slowly worked our way out of the anchorage, and we've had just kind of really light wind, 4 to 8 knots, and just been motoring and motor sailing. But the sea state is just like, it's not huge waves, but it's close period, and now it's really confused. And we've kind of just been like going up and down and like dropping off the backside of waves. So Taylor has been like brutally seasick. I was feeling a little queasy. I just got a few hours of sleep and I feel much better, but and then now I think we have some current with us, which is giving us a boost, but it's going like right into the swell, so it's making the swell really steep and confused, which is slowing our boat speed. So it's kind of, speed-wise, it's sort of canceling us out. And we got our friends here on Discovery Passage. Of course the camera really won't pick it up, but all's good. It's just like not a good time, but I think in about 3 hours we should get some wind, and then we're gonna make a turn. So we're gonna kind of turn with the wind to keep it on our beam, and that should run us right into the Rosarios, which is like right outside of Cartagena. Then we'll spend a few days there. So, and then we got 4 boats that are like 25, 30 miles behind us that are friends. They left a little later because they're faster. Not much else to report, but we're just tired. try to show our route planning a little bit. So I mentioned earlier there's going to be a wind shift later. Well, hopefully the wind's actually going to pick up at some point here, because now it's like barely blowing, but it's supposed to pick up and then shift, and so we're trying to play to that wind shift. All right, so that's us now. And then as we go along, oh my God. Whew. As we go along, the wind's gonna pick up, and then it's gonna become more northeasterly. So that's why we want to make that turn. Because if we just ran straight towards our destination, once that wind shifted, we'd be really hard on the wind, and we don't really want that. We want to have it a little bit more on our beam, because that'll probably both make us faster and just more comfortable. And at any rate, if anything, we're gonna have to slow down, or we're gonna arrive before sunrise. So that's the plan. Whew. For how light the winds have been. We got a great breeze right now, like 13 knots on the beam. It's great. But we're just like jumping around like it's like we're on a trampoline. And so it's been hard on the dogs. I've been queasy a lot of this trip, and poor Taylor's been very sick. But it's been giving us a crazy boost. So we're only doing slowed down. We're only doing 4.9 through the water, but we're doing 6.4 over ground. And 2 reefs in the Genoa just to slow us down, because we're going to get there at like 2 a.m. So I think even now we're still supposed to get there at like 4 a.m. But we're also letting our friends catch up to us as well. So we'll kind of go in, I think, at once. But other than that, not too much to report. All is well. And we've got 42 miles or so to go.
The current gave our speed a big boost, making our arrival to the Rosarios several hours earlier than we expected, in the dark morning hours. So we waited until first light to wind our way through the reefs and shallows. And once the anchor was down, we all slept hard. And then we woke up to Colombia.
Hello from Colombia. Guys, I did not film a single thing on our passage from San Blas to Colombia because I was so seasick. That's the most seasick I've ever been.
Phil, if you're gonna spew into this.
That was one of the, if not the worst passages I've ever had by way of seasickness. The sea state was not good. I could not pick up the camera. So anyway, I apologize for not bringing you guys along on that passage. It kind of reminded me of our very first passage when we left Seattle and left the Strait of Juan de Fuca and sailed to Newport. And, you know, we didn't film hardly anything on that either, mostly because I was extremely seasick on that one too, but also because it was like our first passage ever and whatever. Anyway, lo siento. Sometimes it'd be like that, but we're here. We're in Colombia, and we're in some outlying islands called the Rosario Islands, and it's been just like a total shift in gears, and we're not even in the city. We're just like kind of back to the like being surrounded by party boats and power boats and like music everywhere and like tourists like zooming around, and I don't know, it's been kind of crazy, but it feels really good to be here. So we're just gonna spend a couple days here, and then we're gonna move into Cartagena, into a marina. But But it's crazy. We're in Colombia. We did it. We made it.
After a little research, we realized that something extremely special was available on the island. So we moved the boat to a new anchorage to be closer to it.
You ever see a sailboat or a rooster's tail? So we are about to go step foot on Colombian soil. And I think the only real bummer about that is that it requires that we put shoes on. And I haven't worn shoes in 4 months. So that's a bummer. Let me see. Oh my God. Oh boy.
That'll work.
Not excited about that.
We found a restaurant, which was a total treat for a group of people who've been living on empty, deserted islands for 4 months.
Wow, we just had pizza. We just had food that somebody else made and gave to us. Haven't eaten at a restaurant in 4 months. That was a treat. I'm looking forward to more of that. Right now the sun's going down, the kids are on board. We're gonna go back and say hi to them, but it's a pretty night. At these islands like outside of Cartagena for just a couple days, as you know, this is where we landed when we left from San Blas, and really it's just been really quiet. We've just been like kind of catching up on being exhausted from the passage and like riding out some really big winds, because there's been some really big winds since we pulled in, and tomorrow seems to be like the only like very slight break in these winds, and so we're gonna make a run for Cartagena. And it's not very far. It's only like 10 miles or something, right? It's not like...
That's yeah, it's 10 miles from like here to the bay, like Cartagena Bay, and then it's another 10 miles through the bay. But we'll be in protection in about 10 miles.
Yeah. But like these last 3 days, like it's just been blowing. I mean, 30 knots 24/7. Like it's been really blowing, and I think kicking up, you know, quite a sea state. And we're gonna be waking up at like really early to get the boat ready, and I think be like anchors up at sunrise, and we're just gonna make a run for it. You know, it'll only be a couple hours, but we're kind of like, you know, I don't think it's gonna be a very fun couple hours. And we're basically gonna be going right into it too, so it's gonna be like a bash, and I think they're calling for, I don't know, like 22 knots of wind, and as I said, the sea state is pretty gross out there. I don't even know if you can hear that, but it's like, it's real. So that's hurdle number 1, is just getting our boat from these islands to the bay into some protection. And then hurdle number 2 is going to be putting this boat in a marina. And the marina slips here are not your standard marina slips where you have like docks, like a fingered docks, like you just come up and, you know, you've got like a little piece of concrete or whatever that you hop out on and you tie up to. Here it's almost like a Mediterranean mooring kind of situation, but not. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be an absolute, it's gonna be so silly. So, and the thought of doing this in the big wind that is here and always here adds another element to this just ridiculous series of events. So there's just like, tomorrow's gonna be like a long day, and like we'll get there and we'll get on the dock somehow, some way, but
yeah, it doesn't look good out there.
No, you can like, from where we're anchored right now, you can like see through the cut to like the ocean out there, and yeah, docking will be interesting. We have
to get via turned and backed into a super narrow, it's not even a slip, there's just like pilings that we have to back the boat in between. Like there's no way to do it without at least one dinghy and hopefully 2 dinghies in the water to help corkscrew us. Because we got no bow thruster, we got almost no steering in reverse.
Cartagena is an extremely windy place. But I guess the good news is that if we can make it through tomorrow, we'll be settled in for at least a couple weeks and can, you know.
The next morning, we prepped the boat in the dark, and then at sunrise, we hoisted the anchor and headed towards Cartagena.
Started our bash up into Cartagena, and it's not too bad. If the wind angle went back like 15 degrees, it would not be bad at all, but we're just a little too tight on the wind to sail or really get much drive out of the sail, so we're kind of just hobby horsing into the waves. But good bit of spray coming over the deck, but I honestly thought it was going to be worse, so as long as it doesn't pick up too much, just gonna be a slow bash up there, so. You guys saying that there's a float or a net in the water?
Our friends just almost ran into a fishing net up here. These waves are pretty big. It's easy to like not see a float or even a boat. It came up really fast. I'm trying to keep a lookout, but I don't say things like it's not as bad as I thought it would be, because it seems to be tempting fate in a very stupid way. But if there was a time that I would consider saying that, maybe those words would be something that I would say now if I said those things. But I don't say those things, so I'm not saying them. But you understand. This boat on the dock before the big winds come in.
The harbor was actually a little chaotic, filled with small boats and even tiny kayaks zipping about alongside fast-moving tankers who were not following a traffic lane protocol. But we kept moving along carefully, and then we laid eyes on Cartagena.
Here at the marina, but we're just doing circles outside of the docks right now because these slips are so ridiculous, and we're here with a bunch of boats, and so we're taking turns parking, and we've got dinghies in the water to act as like tugboats.
like as straight as you can, but don't try to like 45 degree into that slip.
So it's a big team effort right now. So we've got a boat that's docking right now. So we're just doing some loops here, hanging out and waiting. And then we're gonna be next.
This docking is exceptionally challenging. First, we need to get down the already quite narrow causeway. And just where it narrows even further is where we then need to turn via all the way around on a dime and reverse in between two pilings into this slip here, all done with a cross breeze. Thankfully, we had many helping hands, some on board and 2 dinghies in the water to help us pivot via on the spot and prevent us from hitting other boats in the process. Once we got down into the narrow area, it was now time to pivot. And then, while backing in, we need to quickly lasso bow lines onto the pilings as we pass them by.
Yeah, you're okay on this side.
And no one on the dock can be of any help at all until our stern is within about 10 feet. Then we toss the stern lines to them and we all begin securing us into place.
Oh my god. Shit. Oh my god, we did it! Good job, Mike.
Yeah.
Did our paddleboard eat it?
I don't think it did. I think we're okay. Very close.
Hola. Crazy. Yay! Well, Mike?
We did it. We did it.
How is this
smooth?
How is this docking?
Good. It was so nice having the dinghies in the water.
Oh my
That
gosh.
would have been so stressful without the dinghies. But went smooth.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna scrape on this side, but we just.
I know. I thought we were gonna
Snuck
lose
by.
the prop on the dinghy or the paddleboard or something, but yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That was so nice having a friend on the boat and then 2 friends in the water and woohoo! All right, Cartagena, what's happening?
Be sure to join us next time as our adventures in Cartagena kick off with tons of color, culture, and of course, food.
Mata como body, she a bad shorty. Una bellaquera me pone bien.